Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special program to commemorate the 3rd anniversary of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, becoming the 16th Emir of the State of Kuwait. On this special program, I will be joined in the studio by a distinguished guest to look at the various achievements of His Highness the Emir and his role in serving the country in several positions throughout his life. And we will also look at the developments of the State of Kuwait under his wise leadership. Stay tuned. Before we delve further in our special coverage, let's take a look at special messages from foreign ambassadors to the country on this special occasion.
Congratulations to His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, on the 3rd anniversary of his ascension. For more than 60 years, the United States and Kuwait have stood together as partners and friends. The American and Kuwaiti partnership is deep and enduring, based on our shared commitment to a more stable, secure, democratic, and prosperous Middle East. We are proud that our relationship has grown over many years to include defense, commercial, educational, and cultural ties that benefit both Kuwaiti and American citizens. Today, thousands of Kuwaitis study in American universities, American and Kuwaiti business people work closely together, and Kuwait hosts the 4th largest American military presence in the world. On behalf of the United States government and Americans around the world, I wish Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah long life and success in leading the country and his people.
On behalf of the British government, I would like to congratulate His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah on having served as Kuwait's Emir for the last 3 years. His Highness has had a long and distinguished career beforehand, including serving as Interior Minister and Defence Minister. And throughout all of the years that he has been active in Kuwaiti politics, he has shown himself to be a true friend and ally of the United Kingdom.
On behalf of the government and people of Australia, I'd like to wish His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah our warmest congratulations on the occasion of the 3rd anniversary of his leadership. And I'd like to take this opportunity to wish His Highness every success in the future and thank him for his leadership of the very warm relations Australia enjoys with Kuwait.
Kuwait declared allegiance to His Highness the Emir on September 29, 2020, succeeding the late Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, a coronation that capped His Highness's long record of service to the country. On the historic day, His Highness the Emir was proclaimed Kuwait's Emir in line with the Constitution and Article Number 4 of the year 1964, according to which the Crown Prince would be the Emir's successor. His Highness took the oath as the Emir following 58 years of service in many ranking positions as Governor of Hawalli, Minister of Interior and Defense, Minister of Social Affairs and Labor, and Deputy Chief of the National Guard.
His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, may Allah bless and protect him, was born on June 25, 1937. His Highness the Emir has held various positions throughout his life, serving the country from an early age. At the age of 25, he was appointed Governor of Hawalli on February 21st of 1962 and held the post until March 19, 1978. He was Minister of Interior from 1978 to January 1988 when he was appointed Minister of Defense. On October 16, 1994, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed was appointed Deputy Chief of the National Guard and held that post until 2003. In the same year, he resumed the post of Minister of Interior until an Emiri decree was issued on October 16, 2003, making him first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Interior. When His Highness the late Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah became the 15th Emir of the State of Kuwait on January 29th of 2006, an Emiri decree was issued a month later, officially naming His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed as the Crown Prince. Following the passing of the late Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed in 2020, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah took the constitutional oath in front of the National Assembly to become the 16th Emir of the State of Kuwait.
Dear viewers, I would now like to welcome our special guest right here in the studio, Dr. Nasser Al-Hajri, consultant in oil sector and political economy. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Nasser.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll dive right into it. Our first question: His Highness the Emir has a distinguished career in serving the country in various positions in the country. Could you tell us more about that?
First of all, I would like to thank you for this invitation. That's number one. Number two, I would like to congratulate His Highness for the 3rd anniversary, wishing him more health, progress and success. Sheikh Nawaf, or Emir Nawaf Al Sabah, he was one of the decision makers since the start of the state of Kuwait. He was the mayor of Hawali, and if you remember, Hawali was most of the distinguished cities in the country, especially as a commercial city. It started in 1961 and so on. So also he faced and he joined also all the leaders of Kuwait since the beginning, and he was one of the key personnel who was involved in most of the crucial events happened in the history of Kuwait since the starting of 1961 until today. So he has a lot of experience. He was involved in the beginning of the establishment of the country, and also at the stage where Kuwait is now one of the most developed countries.
Okay, how do you see the current and future development of the state of Kuwait under the wise leadership of His Highness the Emir?
Well, as I said, His Highness Emir Nawaf Al Sabah, he was part of this development.
Yes.
Actually, he was part of this development from 1961 when he was the mayor of Hawali, and then he became the Minister of Interior. And the point is that he became the Minister of Interior in a very crucial time, if you remember, from 1978 until 1988, during the war of Iraq-Iran, and also during a lot of crucial events happened in 1986, if you remember, the attack on Emir Sheikh Jaber Al Sabah, and also the bombing on the traditional cafes. So he was involved in all these crucial events. He's part of the strategy of 2035, and he's the leader who aimed for this plan since he started in 2020. Also, the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al Sabah, he stated in many events that he was instructed by Emir Nawaf Al Sabah to start the development and the progress of establishing more economical and financial legislations for the future of Kuwait in the future, inshallah.
Dr. Nasser, you kind of touched on this topic, the Kuwait Vision, the new Kuwait Vision 2035. Can you tell us what are the developmental steps that Kuwait is taking towards that?
Okay. 2035 is our strategic plan to develop Kuwait in different areas. Number one, we are trying to make Kuwait one of the financial centers and leaderships in the whole world. The last visit of Crown Prince Mr. Sheikh Mish'al Al Sabah to China, they have made a lot of agreements in order to develop Mubarak Al Kabir port, and also to discuss the Silk Road, which is one of the major projects that will serve the world overall and make the business trips shorter. It will cost the cost of logistics. Also, one of the most important things is that the infrastructure of the country has to be developed in order to achieve 2035 strategic plan. So Amir Nawaf Al Sabah, he's personally behind all this development, and he's checking about every single progress happening in the government and also in the National Assembly, legislations and Executive Assembly, to make sure that we achieve the target in 2035 with the best manner. So the job or the role that he's doing at the moment is extremely important, even though with his health conditions, but he's still doing his best in order to make sure that we achieve the target on 2035.
We do hope he has a speedy recovery, inshallah. Dr. Nasser, if you please stick around while we continue our coverage, and we'll continue, inshallah. Dear viewers, the state of Kuwait is celebrating the 3rd anniversary of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah's proclamation as the country's Emir, and help guide the country towards further development and modernization. His Highness the Emir on many occasions affirmed his keenness on safeguarding the national unity as a barrier that would protect Kuwait and its citizens in the face of challenges. His Highness the Emir supported all efforts that contributed to pushing development forward, enhancing national cadres, stimulating the economy, creating investment opportunities, caring for the youth, backing the education, health, and housing sectors.
After a career full of achievements and distinguished milestones in honorable national positions, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah became the 16th Emir of Kuwait on September 29, 2020, in his capacity as a Crown Prince and in accordance with the provision of the Kuwaiti Constitution in Article 4 of Law No. 4 of 1964. His Highness' wisdom, sincerity, and dedication to everything related to the elevation, interest, security, and prosperity of Kuwait has led to the continued development of the country in various fields. His Highness became the Emir after 58 years of service in several positions, during which he served Kuwait under several honorable titles. On September 30, 2020, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed took the constitutional oath as an Emir of the country before a special session of the National Assembly in accordance with Article 60 of the Constitution, which stipulates that the Emir, before exercising his powers in a special session of the National Assembly, shall take the constitutional oath.
أقسم بالله العظيم أن أحترم الدستور وقوانين الدولة وأدود عن حريات الشعب ومصالحه وأمواله وأصون استقلال الوطن وسلامة أراضيه.
On the economic side, His Highness encouraged the relevant authorities to work on contributing to stimulating the economic sectors, developing their products and services, and creating competitive investment opportunities, as well as paying attention to the industrial and agriculture sectors and developing their products and exports. His Highness also focused on youth and directed to care for them and open future horizons by qualifying them with the best scientific and academic means and installing authentic Kuwaiti values in them.
Dear viewers, we had the privilege of conducting a phone call with the head of the Political Science Department at Kuwait University, Dr. Hayla Al-Mukaimi, and she shared her thoughts on the 3rd anniversary of His Highness the Emir's accession to power.
The Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, was among the Kuwaiti leaders and pioneers who contributed to establish a number of security and social institutions in Kuwait. Therefore, social security is considered one of the most prominent concerns of His Highness the Emir, which was reflected in his trends after he came to power. Therefore, he sought to issue many amnesty decrees for a number of political activists. The new era is based on an economic vision that emphasizes the importance of continuing to implement sustainable economic plans that come in coordination with the rest of the Gulf countries. This will be supported definitely by Kuwait's foreign partnership, whether with the West and the...
That was Dr. Hayla Al-Mukaimi, head of the Political Science Department at Kuwait University. And we thank her once again for her time and insight on our special coverage. Dear viewers, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah is renowned for modesty and belief that Kuwait will always rise to challenges and its faithful people will remain united behind the country's leadership. His Highness's distinguished career reveals his special devotion to the security sector, where he worked diligently and devotedly to develop it and encourage young citizens to be enrolled for the service of the homeland. His efforts at this level extended to the realm of enhancing cooperation with other member states of the GCC for the sake of establishing a joint security system. Dear viewers, we'll be right back after the short break. The recent visit of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, may Allah protect him, to the People's Republic of China strengthened the bilateral relations and opened new horizon in the areas of close cooperation between the two friendly countries in various fields. The new Kuwait 2035 vision has given further motivation for the country's drive to cement ties with China, with the prime goals of overhauling the Kuwaiti economy to render it diversified and sustainable, thus largely becoming in harmony with the Chinese economic strategy.
The development of the state of Kuwait over the years has gone from strength to strength, with various governmental bodies and institutions working diligently to realize the future vision of Kuwait 2035. Kuwait is eager to take part in international events that support development and economic growth, with Kuwait recently participating in the open general session of the BRICS bloc titled BRICS in Africa, Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development, and Inclusive Multilateralism. During the UN Sustainable Development Summit in New York, the General Secretary of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development, Dr. Khalid Mehdi, said that ushering in rapid digital transformation, bolstering cybersecurity, and implementing the fourth industrial revolution are integral goals within Kuwait's Vision 2035, adding that implementing digital transformation would ease the path for Kuwait to be part of the fourth industrial revolution. In regards to 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Dr. Mehdi affirmed that Kuwait was eager to contribute to the 17-point plan ranging from eradicating poverty worldwide to providing proper health care and more. Kuwait's 2035 vision is in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, with the country taking considerable strides into realizing its own development goals through the involvement of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development. Kuwait extended its hand in cooperation with China by signing in 2018 an agreement to develop the northern region of the country as part of the Silk Project, which includes a Mubarak seaport, new residential area, industrial cities, and more. In 2009, Kuwait was also among the first countries in the Middle East to sign a memorandum of understanding with China, as the latter country was embarking in the Belt and Road Initiative of 2013. More recently, Kuwait took part in the G77 plus China Summit hosted by Cuba, under the theme of Challenges of Sustainable Development, Role of Science and Technology and Innovation. The economic and political relations with China took a major leap forward with the visit of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah to the People's Republic of China, where the two countries signed several agreements that will boost the economy of both countries. Kuwait aspires within its approach to implement its 2035 development strategy to invest in human resources, namely the youth, and accordingly, it has taken concrete steps to achieve digital transformation and good governance.
Dear viewers, we are back once again with our special guest in the studio, Dr. Nasser Al-Hajri. Diving right back in, our next question, can you tell us how the recent visit of His Highness the Crown Prince to China can help us economically and help Kuwait achieve its vision for 2035?
Yeah, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago about this visit, it's one of the most important visits that was done recently or for the last 2 or 3 years. China is one of the major and superpower countries among the world. It has the greatest economy, and also it is one of the most leading countries in the whole world. China, if you recall, they supply most of the spare parts to the whole world, and they control a lot of specific spare parts where all other technology is affected by. If you remember the chips of manufacturing the cars and others.
Yes.
And this caused a delay of producing cars, if you remember, for the last two years.
Mm-hmm.
This visit was extremely important, and it is done at the right time. They have signed several agreements with Kuwait. One of them is Mina Mbarak Al-Kabir, which is one of the biggest ports in the Middle East, which will help also, as I said, the logistics of the whole world, and also will reduce the number of days of traveling from east to west. Also, the Chinese companies will participate on establishing the housings here in Kuwait. Ministry of Housing have signed agreement with China in order to bring Chinese companies to establish new cities with the very latest smart cities technology in Kuwait, which is expected to happen very soon. Also, they have signed an agreement with several companies in order to reconstruct the roads, bridges, establish the infrastructure of the countries from A to Z. As you already know, also there are new cities now being established in Kuwait, which needs a lot of other infrastructures to be done recently. China, there is also an agreement in the sector of oil and gas to buy the Kuwait oil, which is one of the most important agreements signed. China is one of our closest and strongest partners in this sector especially. If you know that most of the Chinese companies are working here in Kuwait, I name it like Sinopec, Great Wall, Bohai. These are all Chinese companies who are working in Kuwait Oil Company and participating on the strategy of developing the oil sector here in Kuwait. So we have already signed several agreements in order to achieve the 2035 plan, and also to develop the infrastructure of the country after this visit.
I see. We just heard also in the report, they touched on this a little bit. Kuwait participated recently in 2 very important summits, the BRICS and the G77 plus China. Can you tell us how important are these participations?
Yes. Well, actually, Kuwait participated in most of the summits happening in the whole world. This is part of the philosophy and the politics of Kuwait is to participate in all summits and also participate generously in all kind of nation support. BRICS is one of them, and it is very important, which consists of Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and one another country. Mm-hmm. So Kuwait is not part of this BRICS, mm-hmm. but BRICS has invited 2 countries from the region, I think Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, in order to be part of this. BRICS is one of the most and fastest growing economies in the whole world, which is truly affecting to be part of it. And I hope that Kuwait can be part of BRICS very soon. We have not to start or initiate any kind of willingness to be part of it, but I think if Kuwait initiate this request, it can happen sometime, maybe not now, but maybe in the future. But having also one of our brother countries like Saudi Arabia and UAE as part of this will be, we will be very proud of it. It is an important summit, and inshallah in the near future we will see Kuwait part of it, inshallah.
Inshallah, we hope inshallah. So. Doctor, please hold that thought while we continue this coverage after this short break. Humanitarian values are a constant basis and heritage in the Kuwaiti society. Philanthropic action has become a lifestyle adopted by Kuwaiti generation after another. Humanitarian action constitutes the core of the wise leadership's vision, adopted by His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, with the concept of humanitarian action becoming an inseparable part of the state.
Kuwait's humanitarian role is one of the main pillars of Kuwaiti diplomacy, stemming from its belief in the importance of supporting the peoples and countries that are in need as a consequence of natural or man-made disasters such as wars and armed conflicts. Kuwait is strengthening its international and regional partnerships at the humanitarian level through its continued support to a large number of organizations and international agencies specializing in the provision of humanitarian aid, foremost among which is the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. The tremendous humanitarian efforts exerted by the state of Kuwait and its humanitarian positions at the global level resulted in the state being awarded many humanitarian achievements. Kuwait has also increased the voluntary contributions it provides to the United Nations specialized programs, funds, and agencies, such as Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and the United Nations Children's Fund. The role of the charitable civil associations and foundations in the state of Kuwait is considered pioneering, as Kuwait continues to provide assistance to all those in need around the world without discrimination. Last February, the UN Refugee Agency UNHCR welcomed the state of Kuwait's pledge of $17 million to support its efforts to assist millions of people in Syria and Turkey who were impacted by the devastating earthquakes that hit both countries. And more recently, Kuwait was one of the first countries to respond to the tragedies in Libya and Morocco, with several charitable societies adhering to the directives of His Highness the Emir to provide immediate relief for the victims. The UNHCR's representative in Kuwait, Nasreen Rbi'an, expressed appreciation for Kuwait's genuine humanitarian partnership evidenced through its support for those people in need worldwide. She affirmed on several occasions that Kuwait's contributions reinforces its humanitarian role and His Highness the Emir's humanitarian commitment to help those in need, support them and stand by them in times of crises.
Joining us on the phone from Morocco is Mr. Anwar Al-Hassawi, the Deputy Chairman of the Kuwait Red Crescent Society. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. We have arrived in Morocco to give donations and to help the people of Morocco regarding the earthquake that happened here and that has thousands of casualties and a lot of wounded people. We came here with the Kuwait Red Crescent volunteers and we went to these affected areas. And of course, we have did what we can do. This donation was from Kuwait, and Kuwait Red Crescent are the people who was disputing it with the Red Crescent of Morocco. We went yesterday in the mountains and we saw these people who have lost their houses and they lost their everything that they have. They are living in tents and they need a lot of work to do it, and we are continuing these things until we hope everybody will be sound and safe. And since the floods have hit over Derna in Libya, Kuwait started to send the planes filled with equipment, medicine, food, tents, beds, and lately Kuwait Red Crescent sent 2 ambulance cars to the Libya Red Crescent. We've been doing this as Kuwait always appointed for one of the first country who help other nations, and we were there on the second day, and we've been discussing with Libya Red Crescent what the needs. We are sending our volunteers there to help, and also Kuwait was appointed as a humanitarian center because for 2 things. First, because they are there second or third day. Second, because they always go on time about helping other countries, and this has been more than 57 years, the age of Kuwait Red Crescent, and even before the oil. Kuwait is a humanitarian center, and we hope it will stay like this.
Mr. Anwar Al-Hassawi, the Deputy Chairman of the Kuwait Red Crescent Society, thank you once again for joining us here today, and special thanks to the Kuwait Red Crescent Society for your continued efforts to alleviate the suffering of people in need around the world. Dear viewers, we go back to our guest in the studio. We have just one last question for you regarding going back to the Vision 2035 of Kuwait. With all the agreements that are taking place under the wise leadership of His Highness the Emir, how will achieving that vision make Kuwait an economic and financial hub in the region?
Okay. Just before I answer this question, I would like to thank the Red Crescent for all the support they are doing at this stage with our brothers in Morocco and Libya. And this is one of as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, this is one of the strategy of Kuwait since the beginning, is to support all nations in any kind of disasters happen or force majeure happen all over the world.
Yes.
You can see Kuwait one of the first supporters arriving everywhere in the whole world, which is very well known to everybody. How we can achieve 2035? As I said, the first thing need to do is to put a lot of not pressure. We can invest on human beings.
Yes.
That's my philosophy. Since a long time ago, I have said it in too many interviews that we need to invest on people. That's the number one investment that you need to do. Legislations has to be changed in order to be compatible with all the international legislations. Also, the infrastructure of the country has to be also to the top modern kind of infrastructure in order to be used by other countries and other partners. laws needs to be changed also to make it all compatible to international law. A lot of things needs to be done, but I'm sure 100% that under His Highness, a lot of these things are under developing at the moment, under modifying at this stage, and in the near future you can see completely a different scenario in Kuwait than what you have seen in the past few years.
Well, Dr. Nasser Al-Hajri, consultant in oil sector and expert in political economy, it was a pleasure having you, and we appreciate your valuable insight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and wish you all the best.
Well, dear viewers, on September 30, 2020, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah took the constitutional oath as the Emir of the State of Kuwait during a National Assembly session. As the State of Kuwait celebrates the 3rd anniversary of His Highness the Emir's assumption of power, Kuwait and its citizens can look to his wise leadership as the country continues on the path of development to achieve the Kuwait Vision 2035, working as a mediator to promote peace and stability throughout the world and extending a helping hand to those in need as a beacon of humanitarian action. Thank you for watching and have a good night.
The 29th of September, the anniversary of the accession of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, may Allah protect and preserve him to the reins of power. With vision and foresight, leading the country to a bright future, with sublime directives and compassionate fatherhood for the people to go to achievements, and to the country's flag to go for the summits.